Hi everyone, Tony Tonkin here from Things That Matter, wanting to have a conversation to you about the Lunatic Fringe. Now they're the group of people that kind of sit on the edge. Oh no, they don't. They're actually a group of people who immerse themselves in conspiracy theories and then expect us to agree with anything that they say because they're somehow the experts. So I was listening, so apart from a real nutcase called Karen Brewer, who talks about everybody's a pedophile, and if you're a politician, you're a pedophile, and if you belong to certain organisations, you're clearly a pedophile, and she goes on and on and on. Unbelievable, but has a lot of people that engage with her. You know, and I've said before, I admire her for that. You know, we have nowhere near as many people engage with us as she does. And that's the other thing. So I was watching a video today of a guy whose Facebook video went viral. Best of luck to him. Good for you. But it was full of unsubstantiated, conspiracy theoretical crap. And what I can't understand is why people believe half the stuff that they hear. Why do they accept it as being normal? And what is it that they see in it that causes them to want to agree with it either? Because, I mean, even if you look at some of the stuff logically, it has no sense. This dude was talking about the Chinese taking over our country. And look, I'm not disputing that the Chinese is a very wealthy nation and that they're capitalistically imperialist in a way, and that they are likely to buy as much of Australia as they can because of all the minerals and the other stuff and the food that we offer them. You know, and to me, that's, you know, Australians cannot produce enough food just for ourselves in order to keep our farmers and others and our industrialists, for that matter, going. We just can't. You know, we need to export this stuff. And so obviously the places where you need to export it to are those places that have, you know, billions of people as their population. So I guess I understand the Chinese interest in us based on all of that. But, you know, for it to escalate into a conspiracy theory that offers us no solutions either, you know, so they talk about all this stuff that's important to them, but without a solution. So, you know, if it is true, for example, that the Chinese created a virus so that they could take over the world, and that our politicians are more than happy to sell out Australia, of which there is no real evidence whatsoever, and that we're developing a 5G network so that we can infiltrate the brains and the minds of the citizenry, then, you know, like, it's crazy shit. And there seems to be so many people that fall for it, that see it as being some form of reality. And so it's the lunatic fringe. But it's no longer just a fringe movement. It's actually a movement that's taking on. You know, I have some relatives of mine who believe this stuff. And I don't know, you know, the thing is, I guess one of the things that distresses me, if you were kind of a stupid person for whatever reason, you know, like you made some really lousy decisions in your life and you just had behaviours that indicated that you just weren't quite clever enough to be able to work out which is the best direction to go in life, then I can understand that, you know, it's just a pattern that you have, right? And that, you know, you can learn to probably think a little bit differently about outcomes. A lot of the people who subscribe to this stuff are intelligent, rational, sensible people to me. They're people that have led lives that are substantive in a way. Like they have professions, and, you know, they don't have any other real major issues in their life. They have good relationships and so on. So, but why do you want to believe this? Like, what is the value to you to believe that there are that people are out to get us, that all politicians are out to subvert and to capture us somehow, and to sell us out to other people? like the Chinese. What motivates, like the virus hoax. Okay, so the virus tends to have set all these people off. I guess I do know why. The virus itself has bred a fear in our society about our vulnerability, and that it's something we don't understand. It's something over which we have no control whatsoever, and it seems to be taking over our lives. So as a result of that, we become paranoid. We become obsessed with this sense of fear and this sense that this thing is going to manipulate us, control us, and eventually take us over. So it's almost like an outlying force, like an alien force that's come in to corrupt us. And as a result of that, because there's so many unknowns around the virus, every decision that's made is sometimes a false decision. Some of the stuff isn't necessarily based on fact or science, simply because there's no science or fact that supports the way the virus grows and how it propagates itself, and how it may change over time. So these are all new experiences for us, and we've never had a worldwide pandemic apart from the 2019 pandemic. So I guess what I'm concerned about is the way by which we have chosen, whether we like it or not, to be governed and manipulated by a group of people who are simply fearful. Right? Why can't we just allow our communities to do what they need to do, like the lockdown? So the lockdown becomes a real big issue because people don't like to think that they have had their rights taken from them. Well, you wear seatbelts for certain reasons. You have a whole host of rules and regulations as to how we conduct ourselves in society, because, you can't go along and just beat someone over the head because you don't like it. We call that assault. There are many things that you can't do in our society because it's unhealthy to do so. So here we are placed with this pandemic, which we believe is unhealthy. We believe that it is simply going to infect many, many people, and many people are going to die. And the other thing that frustrates me is that as long as these people are critical of whatever the government does, whatever decisions are made, whatever the scientists may say, the stark difference between these conspiracy theorists and other people is that they offer no solutions as to how to overcome this problem. None whatsoever. They're critical and they're hateful and they despise and call people the names they've called Daniel Andrews are appalling, And I think actually, even though they get a lot of following because they rant and they rave, I don't think they're all that popular. I think they get the lunatic fringe are those that are attracted to them. There clearly are a lot of those. But I think on the whole, people understand why it is that Victoria has lockdowns. People understand that to some extent we should be, and we are afraid of what it is that this virus is doing. And they are prepared to go along with the government's recommendations based on the medical evidence. And I think this is a wonderful way to be. I don't think that people think that that this is, on the whole, a conspiracy by governments in order to control who we are. I just don't think that's the way it is. But there are people out there who do. And when you start talking about 5G conspiracy theories, I think actually you just stepped one step too far. But all along the way, I think there are many steps that you take. So, number one, if these people report something that they say is fact, Ask them where they got the information from. I've done that 1,000 times over the last 12 months, I reckon, to people. And oddly enough, I never get a response. Not once out of the many times I've fact-checked people have I got a response. So ask them, challenge them, because they're talking out of their ass, because they're afraid and they believe that their voice needs to be heard. And look, I appreciate that. I think that all our voices need to be heard. But their voices, if they are generating fear and inaccuracies and facts, there's this group of guys, couple of guys, who produce what they call the real news, right? And the real news is, like the Jones stuff in the US, it's just conspiracy theories, and that, yeah. And I think if you believe this stuff, then become a Donald Trump, get elected, and start propagating it for real, or get elected, get into the thrones of power, and then start to look for the solutions to the problem. It's one thing sitting down and being extremely critical and saying that this whole system is stuffed. It's another thing having the balls and the guts to actually decide that the things that we're talking about may or may not be true. I can base them on some facts, so I can find out what those facts are. These are the sort of people that probably believed in Father Christmas until they were 10 or 12 because they didn't want to let go of the myth, And it is. These are probably the same people that declare that they're atheists because they don't believe that religion has any substantive things that they need to believe in, that there's no proof that there's a God. Yet they are the same ones that go out there suggesting that there is proof to support spurious statements they make that are completely foundless. So, what we need to do is challenge them. So, for those of you that are just tired of this crap, get out there, challenge them, let them know that there are other people that think differently to them. And if you want to have an argument with me about it, I'm more than happy to organise that and come into things that matter so that we can have a conversation. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being with me. It's Tony here, and we look forward to catching up with you next time. And just remember, everybody, be safe.